Tag Show. Tag Show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Mixed Tag Show with
Jenna and
Azul. So
what's
this
up?
is another. What's going on? This is another hot take. You know, something light for the listeners and watchers at home.
Seems like
this
you
week.
guys enjoy our hot takes, so trying to do, as many as possible, but not overdo it because we don't want to force topics. But one
Right.
topic that came to mind that I think we both were intrigued by was the handling of AEW's women's division.
Not so much the handling of the division. I guess it's more so like the decision to make AEW's Women's Tag Team Tournament, which was what's it called? Something draw.
The AEW Women's Tag Team Cup Tournament, the Deadly Draw Night 1. How do I know that exact name? Because it's literally on my TV in big bold letters.
All right, great. You did better than me. But,
I know, you're supposed to be the fanboy.
There we go. Allegedly.
We can.
And the decision, it was put basically was the decision to put it directly onto YouTube.
But I'm gonna say the handling, but we'll discuss that a little bit more in depth. But go ahead.
But yeah, they basically put the tournament on YouTube, and recently, Brandy's been getting a lot of backlash, not just about the tournament, but also about her heels situation that she has going on. We're not gonna discuss that. Probably gonna say that for the next episode of just our regular podcast. But yeah, she basically spoke about having the women's tag team tournament on YouTube and wanting it to live on its own entity, I guess, not too attached to AEW Dark or AEW Dynamite, because those are more male dominant shows, and she doesn't want it to get lost in the shuffle, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like that reasoning.
A lot of people don't like the reasoning. Me personally, I don't mind the idea of having it on YouTube.
Okay.
To me, I felt like it's a time in the era where, like we always talk about on our show, right? Not everybody watch everything live. We watch it DVR. We watch it so many other ways. It's more so like I feel like YouTube, like we say, people don't always watch live, right? Sometimes we just have it in the background and watch the basketball game or baseball games. We're happy sports are back. So for me, I kind of love it on YouTube being itself because it's a time of media now, right? They do AEW on Dark on YouTube, and a lot of things happen on YouTube. We're on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like
at the Mixed Tag Show.
You gotta be subscribed. I feel like that's dope. Like I watched their numbers this past. Like I was watching the show, and they're almost at 500,000. That's almost as many watchers as on AEW. Granted, this past week AEW did 900, but like it's not that far off. Like give it a week, and let's see what happens. So I don't know. It's not that much bad of an idea to me.
I don't think it's a bad idea when you put it like that, because you're right. When I watched it today, actually, and saw that it was at 500,000 or so views. So that's really, really good. But you see, when we just mentioned how many views there were, it just seems like women wrestling, not even just in WWE, but in just all promotions, is at an all-time high, right? So my thing is, why is it that I get what Brandy's trying to say, but I feel like you're trying to take again, women have to take, what's the word I'm looking for? The back seat to men. And I understand you don't want it to get lost in the shuffle, but it shouldn't be lost in the shuffle, because I'm bring it back to another thing we were going to basically discuss, how they've handled the women's division, AEW. Since the beginning of the actual promotion, they have not made it a thing to really focus on their women's division. I mean, we've seen it from when they introduced the women's title, how tiny it was. I honestly feel like that's like not a slap in the face, but just like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Well-
like it's a sexist thing, like, oh, the women are gonna have the small dainty title when you have women that are tall, bigger, stronger, built. So I didn't understand why with the women's title you gave them a little dainty title that can barely fit around a lot of the competitors' waists, right? So the handling of the women's division in general has been really poor. So when I see that, okay, well, we're gonna make this tournament because we don't really see women tag teams like competition in general. So
Right.
I feel like that should be on prime time, right? We live in a generation where women are doing big things, whether they're running for president, running for vice president, in Congress, have really big positions in companies. Brandy has a really a big position with AEW. Stephanie McMahon, WWE. You know, it's just women are doing their thing in so many different aspects. So why is it that women that tournament couldn't be on prime time? That's my thing. I get what you're saying. We do live in a society and generation where technology is prominent, and you know, a lot of us go on our phones to catch something. But if we're gonna use that excuse, a lot of people don't watch things live. People would have DVR'd it, right? Or would eventually catch it later. So I don't buy that excuse that just because we live in a society where everything is technology based. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
I'm just saying, yeah. I'm saying like it's like, to me, I feel like it was better. To me, I honestly wish they would do most of their tournaments on YouTube, not just the women's tag team division tournament. Like if you have a specific thing, do it there.
And that's fine, but I just feel like that's fine, but I just feel like, why did we choose the women's segment to put online, especially when you haven't really been focusing on the women? Well, go ahead.
I mean, they also have AEW Dark that's also on YouTube that's been doing very well as well. What I'm about to say about the title is that I think with the title, I get what you're saying, it's very small. I'm not a very big fan of it. But we got to remember that Kenny Omega runs that women's division, and he's really into like old school Japanese style. And that's what the title really represents, is like old school. But that's not a good. That's not a good.
That's not an excuse.
Yeah, that's not.
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, it should be a more eye-catching title and more suitable title for the women's division.
Yeah,
I do agree that the women's division could be done a whole lot better. But I also think it's like, they're taking time trying to develop a lot of these women wrestlers that some people may not know. You know what I'm saying? Like we were saying, like the girl that's with the dark, with the girl with the dark order, I think that's a dope ass like storyline. Like she's just hanging there. And you ask her about it, like, we're not gonna talk about that right now. Like it's really like some secret society joint. I think it's
but
like dope platform on YouTube to like create more characters. Like, as we've seen, Ariane, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Ariane. Yeah, Ariane Andrew, as we know her as Cameron from fucking Dakus. She came on, and she's not really signed, but we saw a lot of personality from her. She got way better in the ring from last time we saw her.
I was gonna ask you, what did you think of her in the ring? I was like, yo, I was impressed by her selling, just her moveset. I was impressed. I was definitely impressed.
She needs to slow down a little bit, and like, of course, I'm not a wrestler, so I'm not to say anything, but you know, it's little small things you see here and there. But it was like there's a lot of promising that she grew since she left WWE.
She has a strong character, and I'm for Black women succeeding. So the more, the merrier. You know.
And I liked the dynamic between her and Nyla Rose. How they both like supposed to be. You didn't like the dynamic? Why?
I didn't, because we talked about this. You felt like, you know, we didn't realize that she had such a, what's the word I'm looking for, following, and the fact that they lost. I don't know. In general, I enjoyed the tournament. I just didn't like most of the teams were random, you know. And I get about building character. Go ahead.
No, I think it's a playoff. Somebody said it on Twitter when they first announced it. It's a playoff of old style. I think that Dusty Rhodes came up with, that they had a tournament like this for the men as well back in the day, whereas like you randomly pick your opponent or
Opponent.
something
Right.
around something like something. It's called something bull. I can't remember what the Twitter person said, but that's the I guess the
This
gist of
is
it.
good.
Here you go. But I was talking about just the dynamic in terms of like how they both was heels. They tag team together, and then at the end of the match, Nyla was like, "Nah, like he caught you in the match." Like
Right,
it's
right.
like you said, the small underlines. You know me. Like, love it.
No, I mean,
But she
I don't
definitely got
know.
better in the ring.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I get it if you want to use YouTube as a platform to build characters and so we can get introduced to people. But I'm one of those people that I actually don't watch on YouTube. I'm old school. I'll watch on TV in that sense. I just feel like it's easier for me to just turn it on the TV as opposed to, okay, I gotta go into an app and I gotta do this. That's just me. And
Do
I'm
you have
sure
any
that's not,
nephews and nieces?
no, I don't. I am my only child. So,
Like, yeah. I just wanted to,
yeah.
just because the audience is a nice little introduction. So, like, my niece, right? I didn't want to
Yeah.
just, like, jump into it. My niece is, like, what, 16 now, about to be 17. She
Mhm.
lives on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, literally all day in bed, YouTube on her phone. Not even on the TV, on her phone. And
But
I'll
go
constantly
ahead.
I'll
Go ahead.
constantly ask her, right? I'm like, so what are you watching? On YouTube, watching such and such. I'm like, if you really want to watch YouTube that much, you can watch it on the TV, right? She's like, oh. It goes right back to her phone. And she
But
hasn't done
so
that
that
all
point,
summer.
but you bring up that point about nieces and nephews and 16-year-olds and young people. But when Jericho and them got beat by Sasha and Bailey, his
The
main
demographics,
argument
the,
exactly, and what
the demographics
quote unquote
25 to
what
40 or something like that.
exactly and quote unquote that's what at what investors etc. That's what they look for. So I
But
don't
that's the
buy that.
troll. I told you that's the troll, boo.
Uh,
That's a
mm,
troll.
everything truth has been said in jest. Anyway, I don't even know if I said that right, but essentially we're going back to the women's division. Again, me personally, I don't
Yeah.
why are the women sacrificed for YouTube? Again, bring them on prime time. You spend, and we'll talk about it on our actual episode in regards to what happened on AEW. But you spend all this time on the men, and I don't know if there was a women's match that happened, or maybe it did. Apparently, Big Swole, I forget who she faced, but I didn't see it. But apparently, it was a minute match. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Oh no, I definitely
okay.
agree that the women's division deserves better on
And I don't
AEW.
know, something was trending on Twitter in the sense of just the when AEW first started and went prime time, and we saw Rio and she won. She had very little promo or matches to build up who she was. Then she lost, and then after that, there's never been any build up to any matches or characters. Like we know Nyla Rose, that's just a known name. But if you wasn't watching New Japan or anything, you don't know a lot of these Japanese wrestlers, talented, but you don't know, right?
Right,
So,
right.
and then every time it seems like the men, they'll get really really good builds and promo time, but yet the women get nothing. Nyla Rose is paired up with Vicky Guerrero. That's cool, but that's just Nyla Rose. Britt Baker seems to be, outside of Nyla, the one woman that they actually focus on, right?
Right.
Where she gets her little segments and promos and this and that, but you haven't even given her the title, right? So
I mean, she's hurt.
she's hurt, but
I'm talking
prior
about in the
to that,
beginning.
she
I
was
mean,
a
I guess
known
that's what.
name.
I guess that was the reason for her turn. I guess the build for her turn. They needed more heels. I guess I don't know, but
I
I
don't know.
agree. Like the
I
women's
don't. I don't
division.
know if they need more
Yeah,
heels or not because they don't focus on it. They
yeah. You
literally
don't know
don't
who's on
give
the
the women
roster.
TV. Yeah, you don't. They don't give women
Let me
TV
see if I put the
time.
roster real quick. Right.
They don't give women TV time. I can't get invested in specific characters because I don't know. They were doing that whole nightmare thing, Brandy and her little faction. What happened to that? Like I don't watch often, but I feel like that just came and
Oh
went.
yeah, because when Karma had to leave, she had to leave and go back to recording for I think the Netflix series that she's a part of.
Yeah, but again, it's just the inconsistencies, and I'm thinking like, yo,
Yeah.
Brandy Rhodes. It just seems like, and I feel like every time lately it's always a race thing that I bring up, but it just seems like, yo, you don't stand up for Black women, you don't stand up for women. What do you stand for?
I mean, she tried to stand up for women, but she did it
Try
like
how?
we'll talk about that in the episode, like the whole Hills thing that she's coming up with. But she's not in charge of the division. that's
She's not.
she mentioned that.
She's not in charge of the division, but she has a prominent role in the company.
Well, that's
So
why she has
use
the
your
tournament.
use your voice. Yeah, but it's you have the tournament, but it's still not enough. It's still not enough. It's like what they do. It's just how women are treated in the actual workplace. It's like, oh yeah, well, we gave you that. You know, yeah, you have that. That's fine. Nah, like it's
Let me see.
2020. Why is it that we have to fight for more TV time? And AEW was, their whole thing was, we're gonna do it so much better than WWE. This is gonna be the quote unquote land of opportunity, right? Like we're gonna, and I'm still waiting to see who I'm gonna gravitate to with the women's division, because honestly, I'm tired of men's wrestling, in my opinion.
Yikes. 2,
Hey,
3, 6,
I need more
9,
wine, but I said
no, you
one
don't.
glass.
12, 15, 18, 19 women on the roster. At least I think at least like 3 of these girls are still stuck in Japan. Yeah, we haven't seen Statlander in a while. Bates just
I
sit
mean,
ringside most of the night.
that you're
You
saying
see
that's about
Ali.
20. That's about 20 women.
Yeah.
I think that's enough to work with. But
Abaddon, we haven't seen Abaddon in a while.
when I see a 12-man tag team match on AEW, I see Chris Jericho, Orange Cassidy, I see Cody, I see MJF, I see the same dudes dominating, and I'm like, all right, so where's the women?
Yeah.
That's my only thing. I think the women's tournament is a great thing, but is this all going to commence? Is just going to continue on YouTube? Like, are the finalists going to be placed on pay-per-view? Are they going to be placed on prime time? Like, what's going to happen? Because so now you're telling me the crowning of the champions are going to be on YouTube? They don't. That's not cool.
I think they're gonna put even if they do the crown on the champions on YouTube, I think they're gonna give them a segment as well on the main.
Are they? I don't know. Like, are they gonna give them a segment or not? Like,
I agree. Like, AEW needs to do a whole lot more with the women division, especially when you have 20 women on a roster. Let's say 17, because at least 3 of them are stuck in overseas. You got to find time for them. You got to give them a storyline. Like, outside of Britt Baker, like you said, outside of Britt Baker and Swole, what other storylines is really going on? Not even the champion is really in that storyline right now. So it's hard.
But
like,
and then
what are you guys doing?
Then the whole thing was it. AEW would been on for a year. I think October would make it a year, or right October. You made it like the whole because I remember going to DC, I believe, in October. You made a whole thing that we're gonna do it so much different and better than WWE, and yet it just seems like the same old. If anything, in that aspect, it might be worse. I'm not saying I don't know what the locker room situation is. I'm not trying to predict that or what's going on because we don't know. This is just an opinion. But in the sense of worse being like people are not getting opportunities, it just seems like people are not getting opportunities. And don't get me started with like people of color outside of people who are Japanese. And I'm not saying anything obviously, but I just don't. I want to relate to it. I want to like.
I think that they start. I feel like I didn't get to finish watching AEW this week, but I feel like they're starting to do more with Scorpio Sky. They're definitely doing more with this guy. I forgot his name. That they just brought on. His promo was pretty dope this past week. Do you remember the guy's name?
I don't know. It's not about guys right now. The point is, I want to see more women.
We'll say that. We'll say that for later.
Right. We'll talk about it in the episode coming out next week. But yeah, I just want to see women prosper. It's just This has been a male sport for decades, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I truly feel, and I think a lot of people feel this way, that women wrestling is at an all-time high, and women wrestlers are maybe are better. Maybe I don't want to say every single woman wrestler is better than every, you know what I mean? But I just feel like since women, and I've been saying this since we saw Evolution, the pay-per-view, I feel like when women are getting the opportunities, when they get the opportunities, they're showing out, right? Because the opportunity has been limited. So let me show you what I really can do. I feel like men are very complacent because, like, yeah, I'm gonna be on TV. It's guaranteed that someone's gonna sign me because this and that and third. Whereas women gotta fight even harder. So I want to see AEW show more women. Period. That's really the case. But I'm excited. I really enjoyed the tournament. Like I said, it's hard for me to get on the AEW bandwagon, but I was very intrigued by that. I like the names that were used. Hopefully we see more from Ariane, and whether
her
it's
fans were very
AEW.
upset that she got eliminated, and that was true. Like, if you're gonna bring somebody in that the audience may recognize, like, why would you
pair them
like
with
that?
someone like Nyla Rose and her mouthpiece is Vicky
Right,
Guerrero?
I feel like that could have been
Just seems
so
like
much better.
shout out
Honestly,
to old girl that was on NXT. She was on the other team.
Yeah. And that, I don't remember the girl from that's joining Dark Order's name, but like, I don't know. I just feel like they pulled that trigger a little bit too quick. They should let Ariane and Lana Rose,
maybe because since Ariane is not really signed, she's still a free agent.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the reason why they didn't pull the trigger. But I'm excited if there's more to come, in the sense of whether it's here or another promotion. Hell, maybe she goes to WWE and they might pair her with Naomi, and I hope they're not named the Funkle-Dackles and do that.
That's what I say. Would you want to see them?
But yeah, why not?
They're
good friends. I wouldn't want to see that the Funkle-Dackles. I think it was cool back in the 2000 and what was it, 13, 12? I don't remember.
Even then, it was kind of sketchy.
Even then, but people gravitated to them.
Right.
It was cool for what it was, right? But now I don't want to see so much the stereotypical, dancing and this and that and the third. Like, just two badass Black women kicking ass and with attitude and sass, and do the damn thing. And now you have a legitimate tag team that can go for the tag team titles. So I don't know, whatever her path is, I'm excited. I love to see, we see so many wrestlers that they grew up loving wrestling, right? But we kind of like shit on or give dirty looks to those who that wasn't their calling, right? But they gravitated to it, enjoyed it, and then work on their craft. And so I love to see that. So if that's it, she's always posting videos on her social media, like in regards to her working. So I'm for it, honestly.
Hopefully, let's see if they're gonna pick her up or she heads to WWE. You never know. But that's our hot take on AEW's Women's Tag Team Tournament, the Deadly Draw. Of course, as always, leave your comments below. Make sure you subscribe.
Yes.
/division. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Mixed Tag Show. Also follow us on Instagram at The Mixed Tag Show or on our personal at
Miss Jenna Baby, BAYBEE, or at
Blue Magic Grind, spelled how it sounds. Make sure you catch our new episode coming up this week. If you haven't subscribed to us on podcasts, on all your favorite platforms as well. We drop new episodes at least every 2 weeks. This hot take is going to come up every time we see a hot topic pop up. And we're working on individual stuff for you guys to work underneath the Mixed Tag Show's umbrella. I got exciting things to announce. Jenna's working on her stuff together. We're going to make it more fun for you.
Yes. So thank you for all the love the past couple of videos that we have put out and you've gravitated to. So we appreciate that. So we're going to try to give out more content.
And that's how we leave it.
Peace. Okay.
All right, I'm trying to knock this out ASAP.